No, you know what this is? This is a superhero cape. This is my superhero cape because every time I am in need of like that confidence or the comfort or whatever, and he's not here, his letters are here and they have inspired me, they have empowered me, and I'm like, that is exactly what this is.
Well, hey, hello, and howdy. Clark Underwood here in beautiful Lockhart, Texas. And today I'm riding this old scooter to meet Sara Lee Hughes. She is painting really nice, beautiful paintings with some seemingly ordinary subject matter, but really the story I think behind them is a little bit unordinary. Really excited to dig into that, see her work in person, see where she's working. So I gotta get there and I'll be seeing you there. I've parked the scooter and hope that I found the right garage. Sara Lee, is this your studio?
It is.
Found you.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Clark.
I am so excited to see your work.
Well, me too. You want to come on back?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm ready. Wow, what a great workspace. I love how your work takes over. It is so big.
It does. It does.
So this is your garage?
It is.
And how long have you converted it, and how's the space working out for you? It seems great.
It's great. It is great. So we're in my garage in Lockhart, Texas. We've been here for 13 years, and upon moving in, I mean, as soon as we got the boxes into the house, I pretty much took it over.
Well, fantastic. Let's talk about this piece.
So this is called My Two Selves on the Backyard Swing. And the backyard swing is reminiscent of a candy cane striped swing set I had as a kid. And it's both myself, a very masculine self and a feminine self. And this goes back to, or has roots in my parents. My dad was gay and my mom was straight. It speaks to my, my kind of dive and dig into my heritage. The swing set, and then this porch swing. This is definitely like more of a porch swing. So many of the family pictures we took were on swings. I don't know if that's a Southern thing, but if you go through photos, we've got lots of pictures on this particular swing at my dad's parents' house in Fairfield, Texas. And my mom is in the suit. And the suit kind of is metaphor for, you know, the decision maker, the business, once they got divorced, she raised us. So she was very much the organized and had to keep it all together. And so I really related that with responsibility and structure. And so the suit is structure, whereas the dress, you know, it's creative, it's flamboyant, it is, it's free, it's freedom. And so down the line, that's how this has been interpreted.
Wow.
No, that's a lot.
No, that is a lot, but you can tell when you walk up on a painting like this, you don't think someone just thought like, well, I'm gonna put myself in a suit and a dress and on a swing set that certainly doesn't exist, and there's a lot of story behind it.
Yeah.
And I noticed maybe in your bio or in some of your writing about your work that you identify as a narrative painter. Is that something you coined, or is that a whole genre?
You know, I would consider it a whole genre. Gotcha. There's narrative painting, yes. I often ask myself, okay, this is like what I'm feeling and this is what I'm working with. How do I paint that? So this is the visual that I had come up with for, you know, this idea of masculine and feminine structure and organic, my father and my mother. And people don't have that story, but there are touchstones in this that people go to.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Then boom, then it goes for them and they connect to the narrative in their own way.
So like in the swing piece, there's that contrast.
Yes.
And then in this piece, there's still a contrast of the free girl who might be a little jealous of the teacup trapped girl. And the teacup trapped girl is definitely jealous of the free riding horse girl. Mm-hmm. And so the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yes.
But what's your story behind the piece?
So the grass is always greener. So we've got structure, we've got the houses, and then we've got a very loose interpretation of loblolly pines from East Texas. Growing up, I had a pony. It's so funny. I had divorced parents. You know, my dad was gay in a time in Texas where, you know, that's just not like a good thing during the 1970s. But even with divorced parents and all of that, I had a pony. It was kind of idyllic, but I didn't realize that idyllicness until I was much older. And so my daughter rides now. And this came out of this idea. She turned 8 last year when this was made. And I was making a lot of these paintings. There's a kind of a whole shift looking at the world from her point of view at 8, because at 8 was when my parents got divorced. And so I was very interested to see the world, you know, and looking at it through Marlowe's eyes. Wow, she's got parents, she has a family. She's riding, she doesn't have a pony, you know, but just that, wow, you know, that thing of, wow, you've got what I want. Well, you've got what I want. This has really been such a kind of a, I don't even know if groundbreaking is the right word, but more like I'm off, you know, down another road, because idioms, now I'm taking idioms and really kind of telling a narrative behind the idiom.
Yeah. And again, in this piece, it's your story. But all of those small details create an emotion that a narrative is quickly built. So I think I'm catching on to the narrative painting idea is like you put together a story that's near and dear to you, but has enough commonality and visual narrative of the contrast and the opposites and the way you force perspective that really creates an emotion in the viewer, whether they hear your story or not.
Right.
But it's all the more powerful with it.
Yes, and it's interesting because the more I have chosen to do that, the more people have been able to connect to it.
That's really cool. Well, I feel like I've got a good handle on your inspiration. What was your art journey? Like there was some school in there? Or was it all experimenting?
You know, so when I was really young, there was just a lot of drawing. And so I went to college for theater. That also introduced me into the design element of stuff. And I love to act, but acting it's non-tangible. And I need the tangible. So that kind of led to scenic painting, which was painting on this huge scale. And I loved it. I did a little bit of graduate school with costume design, and I was like, nope, that's done. It's painting. I ended up at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts in Philadelphia, which was incredible. And then when I almost turned 40, I was like, oh, a good time to go back to school. So I moved to New York and I went to Pratt. So in 2012, I have Marlo, and you know, well, there you go. You've got a little person, and so she took precedence. So I didn't really get back to any of this work until she goes to school. I come home. I had like the oil set out. I was like, we're doing a self-portrait, and we are back in, people. And then I mean, game on.
The more artists I talk to, the more I realize that to make something so compelling and so unique and with such a voice, you have to have that whole journey. Mm-hmm. You have to go from costumes to Philly to New York to having a child to and examining your own childhood, and you wrap it all up into something that just makes you go, whoa. So in one of your paintings, it's maybe you on a bicycle?
Yes.
With a giant cape?
Yes.
What's the cape metaphor? Because I've also seen a picture of you wearing it physically.
Yes. Okay, so the cape is, so I reconnected with my dad in like 1988. For the 3.5 remaining years of his life, he wrote to me. And so I have all of his letters. And so his letters are full of incredible information passed down from, you know, the almost 50 and 50-year-old to the 23-year-old. I mean, and practical, great advice, and it's also confidence bolstering, and it's comforting. And so it became all of these different things over the years, and particularly after he was gone. I would go to them, I've had like this crazy day, or I want to apply for this thing, I don't know, and you could pick one of the letters. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Heck yeah, jump and the net will appear. When I was in graduate school, I was like a quilt. I'm working, you know, and I've sewn some of them together thinking it's gonna be a quilt. And then I'm like, no, you know what this is? This is a superhero cape. This is my superhero cape, because every time I am in need of like that confidence or the comfort or whatever, and he's not here, his letters are here, and they have inspired me, they have empowered me, and I'm like, that is exactly what this is. It is a superhero cape. So I sewed them all together, and now it is this crazy long cape. So yeah, yes.
Well, Sara Lee, thank you so much for letting me spend time with you first and foremost, and getting to see your work and hear about how much of you goes into it and just the meaning you pack in there and the experience for others that comes from your work. It's been such an insight and just a joy of a time. It's really been awesome to be here. So.
Well, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed having you here, Clark, and very excited for the Quest for Zest.
The Quest for Zest, we're on it.
Yay!
Right on. Well, I'll tell you what, that was such a positive experience getting to spend time with Sara Lee Hughes in her studio and just hear about her work and how she captures her own introspection and uses it to create a sense of connection from her stories to other people's stories. It got me really thinking about my childhood and all the connectedness and how I can use that in my own creativity and just to connect to others. So feeling really inspired by her work and her intention. So on that note, I'm gonna head out, maybe do a little contemplation of my own on the scooter. Till next time, it's Clark Underwood from the Quest for Zest. Ciao.